Welcome to Crosstalk. I'm Cyril Adapu, and what we do here is pretty simple. We raise an issue and have two sides oppose each other. Today, hashtag end bad governance. Should the protest hold? Let me do that again. Hashtag end bad governance. Should the protest hold? Nigerians are suffering under the weight of inflation and mass hardship. There is hunger in the land. But the government says the trial of the present hour is a necessary inconvenience, a gateway to our promised land. Is that so? Not many Nigerians are convinced. The dissenters have opted to hit the streets on August 1 to press home their call for an end to bad governance. Shouldn't we all be protesters? Or isn't silence really the better answer at a time like this? I guess that the answer is determined by where you stand on this issue. My combatants today are Barrister Evans Ifeli and Mr. Inolua Agbeniga. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Very well.
All right, who takes the first shot? Should the protest hold? Should the protest not hold? Who goes first?
Okay, I will go first. In my own opinion, the protest should hold because at this point, I think Nigeria is at the crossroad. It is becoming unbearable again. You know, there's this popular thought about people that don't worry, me and my family shall eat the fruit of the land. But now there's no more fruit in the land to eat. So I think people now should go out and protest. And I think if they had not stopped the previous one that happened because of the killing, the UN would have interfered in the matter. But then it happened and everywhere went silent. Now people don't want to come out because there's this thing about our parents. They will tell you, no, you don't have to go out. You don't have to go out because people think, no, protest in Nigeria particularly, protest is about, they don't see it as the rights of the citizens.
Yes.
It is now looking like, okay, if you do or engage in protest, you are engaging in some kind of improper activity.
Yes.
So I think this particular protest should go on.
Let me ask you before I talk about it.
Okay.
In light of you saying we're at a crossroads is like a junction.
Yes.
All roads going there, other roads going. What are these roads at the crossroads? Where do they lead?
Revolution.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. At this crossroads, what we need or where we need to go after this crossroad is for a change, a better change. Okay. And that's what we call for revolution.
Okay, so for you, protest for peace and protest for change. Why does that have you enter?
Well, what is roaming my mind is the words of William Shakespeare in Hamlet. Life is but a walking shadow, a poor player who strut and fret his hour upon a stage and headed no more. It's like a tale told by an idiot, full of sounds and furies, signifying nothing. And then in Julius Caesar, what can be avoided whose end is proposed by the Almighty? Yet Caesar shall go forth, for this prediction is made to the world in general and as to Caesar. He said we're on a crossroad. Truly we're on a crossroad. And every generation have a way of addressing their crossroads all over the world. Now what is before us is an option. An option to either go for protests, demand for good governance, ask for what belongs to us by right, or conversely, stay indolent, stay neutral, sit on the fence, bear with all the shenanigans and somersaults in policies and the rest of them. The ball is on the court of Nigerians, and some persons have said that they are going to take action come August 1st. That notice has been put out there for close to 3 weeks now. And the proponent of this protest mean business. When you go online, you will see that they are ready for action. Now, as to my proposition is that protest is a constitutional right of the citizens. But that constitutional right is left to them to exercise or not. To be or not to be, that's the question. Whether it is nobler in the mind to suffer the arrows or sling of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of trouble. Back to William Shakespeare. So there's a litany of constructs and thought as to whether this protest should hold. But I am of the view that if it is the right of the citizens and it is exercisable by them, they should go ahead and exercise that right. Yeah. Human rights are put in the Constitution, enacted into law for the purposes of the citizens to exercise same when the need arises. The caution, therefore, is this. When you say protest in Nigeria, people begin to believe that the moment you say protest, people begin to think violence. People begin to think destruction of life and properties, looting. But that is not the way to recover whatever a citizen thinks it has lost. Okay? Protest is a way of, airing your displeasure, expressing your displeasure as to how you are governed. Because sovereignty belongs to the people. And if sovereignty belongs to the people must share in that patrimony as to whether they believe and they like the way they are being governed, or whether they are not happy and they are dissatisfied as to how they are being governed.
So, protest, are you for or against the protest?
For the protest, largely so, to the extent that it must not lead to a breakdown of law and order. Protest is important, but there must be caution. And the caution there is that protest is guaranteed by the Constitution in Chapter 4.
And where a breakdown of law and order is inevitable, you should not protest.
No. There shouldn't be a point where we say that because of the likelihood of breakdown of law and order, people should not protest.
Okay.
Because when you put that as a yardstick, what you have done is to, through the Constitution, give the people the right to protest with the right hand and take it back with the left hand. They must come out to protest. The protest must be well entrenched. The protest must be guarded based on the rights of the citizens. Most times, government will take excuse to go disrupt protests by claiming that the people were violent or another. But violence will not affect the government in the long run. Violence will come back to the citizens. The last NSAS protest, where after it was hijacked by hoodlums, the destruction of the high courts and public facilities, the BRT buses, and so many other properties that were destroyed. Private businesses were destroyed. Malls were looted. Police stations were burnt. Okay? That is not the way of, fighting back at the government. The way is to keep the protest ongoing for days, to alert international community and the whole world, so that the whole world will see that people are really dissatisfied. They can go on, get to the National Assembly and take the maize, but don't destroy it. They must not kill any of the lawmakers or kill anybody in the protest, but they can actually step into territories and occupy those territories.
All right. So I come to Inurua. When you say protest, aren't you worried about a fallout that may not be foreseen? For example, looting, burning, and so on. Why do you insist on the protest?
Of course, out of every organization, no matter how they prepare for the protest, there will still be some moves.
They do that out of fear.
Yes, they will still go out and back from the initial plan. So it is also the plan of, or should I say, it is mostly used by politicians or those in government to enter, so they can, like you said, they can maneuver and use violence in or should I call it, in that view. So I think the protest is it is a normal thing. In as much as people get that protest is their right to express their displeasure about how they are being governed.
All right, let me come to Vice Philip. Government has said the policies we put in place, taking off subsidy, cost of things going up, are only a temporary price we're paying for a greater tomorrow. And in your view, the protesters should listen to the government, obey the government, and believe that indeed protests are not a greater tomorrow, so therefore they can as well not protest.
That's not my view.
Okay, what is
You
your
are
view?
putting it into my mouth. I've not said. It is my view. I didn't say that. I'm saying that the subsidy removal they talked about, few months down the line, they told us that they are still paying the subsidy. Meanwhile, the one they took off, what they saved from that proceed, we have not seen it. The palliative they promised did not get to the people. Okay? They gave it to governors. Now, all they have promised in terms of what they need to cushion the effects of that sudden removal of subsidy and the floating of the naira at the same time that brought us to this ditch. They have not addressed any. Rather, they are still adding salt to injury by telling us they are going to buy private jets for the president and the vice. And they are going to embark on other white elephant projects. We can see that. We can see how they went for the coup 20-something in Dubai. Yes. Then we've also seen how our funds have been mismanaged. We've seen how loans have been taken. We've seen how the Buhari government, did what they call forward sales with our crude. Crude have not been produced. We have sold them already. So when we put all this together, we now look at how that National Assembly acquired, 100 million cost of worth of cars for each of them and all that. And also, we have also balanced that with the current decision of the House of Rep to give away half of their basic salary, which is 300,000 naira each, for 360 lawmakers, which will amount to 180 million per month for the next 6 months. How that is negligible, and how they have also said that money they will hand it over to the federal government for the citizens, getting it wrong at every square, at all the time. So, you see, we have already met all the conditions for this protest. Protest is not something that people will come together and gather if something is not wrong. Something is wrong, that is why they have gathered. The government is not looking at that thing that is wrong. The government is not saying anything about that thing that is wrong. What they are saying is that you should not protest. You cannot be looking at the fruit without checking the root that bears the fruit. Okay, so go and address those issues that the people who want to protest, what they've come to a certain kind of conclusion. And let me even tell you, it's even too late for government to do anything. There's nothing government will do between now and the 1st that the protest will not hold. So that they just know. All this one are saying they want to give small money so that they will not protest, and they give government, will reduce our salary. Is it now that you just discover that? See what happened in Kenya. They are scared. So they are coming up with that because Nigeria is actually working for them. And they don't want that Nigeria that is working for them to be disrupted.
Okay. Now, in taking this one, in Yoruba, post-protest, what exactly is the change you hope to see?
For the government, firstly, to come to the problem, there is a saying that goes, the beginning of the solution is the realization of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So they should come to the realization of what is the problem. Why are they protesting?
Mm.
So once this has been tackled,
Mm-hmm.
I think we have an edge over a positive change.
So what will be tackled? What?
The things that is being brought forward,
Okay.
concerning the protest, the inflation,
Yes.
the subsidy removal,
Yes.
the hardship in the country.
Yes.
So we just hope that the governments can review, because I know most of them don't know these things are happening in Nigeria. They are not aware of the masses, what they are going through, or how they live day by day. So we hope that the common Nigerian rather, can live a better life.
But really, In closing, we've seen the last time Nigerian youths hit the streets, it didn't end very well.
Yes.
That was NSAS 20. In fact, we're still recovering from the consequence of NSAS.
Yes.
Can we afford another meltdown in our country?
We're not, but I don't think the people are calling for violence. Okay? Peaceful.
NSAS wasn't violent,
Yes.
but violence was brought upon NSAS.
Yes, violence was
Yes.
brought upon it. That is
Yes.
why there is a standing precedent and experience now.
Mhm.
So those who are going out there to protest must organize proper, not just agonize.
Yes.
And then guard the protest against those who infiltrate it, who have the intention to steal, but cannot do it under the present peaceful condition. They want a situation where there will be a breakdown of law and order before they can perpetrate their act. Those ones, they should be part. The protest you have, in my suggestion, some task force, peace task force that will go around to ensure that every protester is with one vision, one dream, and one purpose. And the essence is to occupy spaces and protest and submit protest letter and call for good governance. Anybody who is out there to steal, to loot, and all that should be arrested and prosecuted as a thief. Then for the government should adopt the Junior Chambers motto. I believe that faith in God gives meaning and purpose to life. That economic justice can best be won by free men through free enterprise. That the brotherhood of man transcends the sovereignty of nation. And that the service to humanity is the greatest treasure of life. If they do not serve humanity, the purpose of government is for the security and welfare of the people. And that's the same motto with the Junior Chambers. The service to humanity. If our leaders don't come to that conclusion, where the service to humanity is what is primus in this whole conversation, then protests will continue, protests will go on. And if it leads to a breakdown of law and order, it's their fault. Because if they have done what they're supposed to do, nobody will protest and nobody will create a situation that will lead to a breakdown of law and order.
Well, you have the sides to the matter. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the sides to differ. It appears there's a consensus on the Nigerian mind that protest it will be. But as Baisufeli said it in his closing remarks, he has said if the protest indeed lead to a breakdown of law and order, I beg your pardon, it won't be the fault of the protesters, but that of the government. Already, for the protesters, it is the government's fault for which they are protesting. We hope that fault doesn't lead to even more fault, that leads to even much more fault. For now, we hold it here on the program today on Crosstalk. Thanks, gentlemen, once again for coming.
My pleasure.
And Barrister Baisufeli, thanks for being
It's my pleasure. Yeah.
Until Crosstalk comes again, I'm Cyril about saying bye for now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.